Do you remember what it was like watching your first Olympic Games? What was the atmosphere like when all Malaysians cheered on our athletes in unison? For me, it was a very emotional sight to see everyone come together to support our athletes despite our differences. Sports truly have the potential to unite a nation. On the surface, we can see that the Olympic Games boast great benefit to the host nation and to society as a whole, but is it too good to be true? Today I'm here to tell you that the Olympic Games is actually a poisonous apple. My name is Izz Idlan Bin Zulkefly, and like most men, I'm also a sports enthusiast. I've been watching and following the evolution of the Olympic Games since a very young age. Additionally, I have also enhanced my knowledge of the Olympic Games by reading various blogs and articles, as well as watching videos on YouTube. I've gathered ample of information throughout the internet and feel obliged to share it. Now, I'm not saying that we should cancel the Olympic Games. It is a major sporting event awaited by many people around the globe, and I personally cannot imagine life without the Olympic Games. But it definitely needs a change. So, why should we not support the current Olympic Games? Well, today I'm going to convince you to not support the current Olympic Games because of 3 reasons. First, because poor people are oppressed. Second, it is usually over budgeted. And third, because the infrastructure bill will likely be abandoned after the Games. Now let's move on to the first point, that is, poor people are oppressed. Did you know that prior to the Olympics, people in the poor neighborhood are forcibly evicted from their homes to make way for the Olympics infrastructure? Can you just imagine the situation where one day you are just leading your normal life and suddenly you are forced to find another home? Well, that's not all. Brian Seacliff and Andrew Manley, lecturers at the University of Bath, stated that an estimated 1.5 million people were forcefully expelled from their homes with minimum compensation to make way for Beijing's 2008 Olympics infrastructure. Can you just imagine the hardship these people have been through? Their neighborhood were destroyed and they were removed to the outskirts of the city, far away from their friends and family. Their life would have been very difficult. Well, another case, that's not all. Another case, to host the Rio 2016 Olympics, residents near the Rio Olympic Stadium were forcibly removed in a bloody confrontation between the police, involving the use of rubber bullets and percussion grenade. Yes, you heard that right. Rubber bullets and percussion grenade were used. Let us all reflect on this matter and ask ourselves, is it worth it to enjoy the Games while these innocent people must suffer? Next, we move on to the second point, that is, Olympic Games is usually over budgeted. Did you know that since the 1960s Olympics, the cost of all the Olympic Games have been over the initial budget? So, you may ask, what happens if the Olympic Games goes over budget? Well, who's going to pay for these cost overruns? Well, you, the residents of the host city, will pay using the tax money. For example, is the Montreal's 1976 Olympic Games, the cost overrun took 30 years to pay off, and the people of Quebec still pay 17 million a year to maintain the Olympic Stadium. So instead of wasting money on building this Olympics infrastructure, the money would be better off spent on upgrading healthcare, education, public transport, and other important sectors of the country, where this will actually be beneficial to the residents for a very, very long time. Now, we move on to the last point, that is, the infrastructure bill are usually abandoned after the Games. Okay. After the Games, rarely are there going to be another event as big as the Olympics to make use of these world-class venues. Hence, these world-class venues, they will likely sit empty, rusted, overgrown with weeds, and even filled with polluted water because it will not be used. This building will only be a spoil to the view while serving no purpose at all. For example, is the Maracana Stadium from Rio 2016, Athens 2004 swimming pool, Olympics Aquatic Stadium from Rio 2016, and many, many more. Why should we waste money to build a one-off stadium is the fame and glory worth the debt that the citizen would have to pay? Let us all think carefully and make the right decision. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I have convinced you to not support the current Olympic Games. I hope I have opened your eyes to perceive a new perspective regarding the current Olympic Games, as it is not just sunshine and rainbows. In fact, I would like to emphasize that we should not support the current Olympic Games because poor people are oppressed. It is usually over budgeted, and the infrastructure bill will likely be abandoned after the Games. I firmly believe that we should not support the current Olympic Games and that it definitely needs to change. At the end of the day, the International Olympic Committee, IOC, the governing body of the Olympics, holds the true power to reform and shape the future of the Games. Yet, remember, it is our utmost duty to put constant pressure on the shoulders of the IOC to make a change and restructure the Olympic Games format. In conclusion, I urge each and every one of us to play our part to foster awareness in the community regarding the current state of the Olympic Games. As a responsible human being, you can use the hashtag #BoycottOlympics to put pressure on the IOC and join the fight to change the current Olympic Games format. You can also share this video to your friends and family so they will be aware of the dark side of the Olympic Games. It is not too late to change the Olympics, but if we fail to take the required drastic measures, its downfall shall be witnessed for the entire globe to see. With that, I ended my speech. Thank you.